Assalamu alaikum guys. We'll be starting off with the last lecture before you guys start actually finalizing your websites and everything. So we'll be talking about power and responsibility, mainly about plugins and other functionality within your website. And this is basically, you can think of a strategic guide to extending your website securely. So a WordPress website is kind of like a foundation, and a standard WordPress installation, it will provide you with a ground floor, but how you build upon it, that depends on you and what sort of structure you make into it, what sort of themes you install, what sort of plugins that you use. In WordPress, you can think of kind of like a dynamic engine for your organization. What that means is like, it will provide you with some sort of template, and then you can add on to it, work on it, and make it look better, make it function better according to your needs. And plugins are the tool that unlock this potential. Now I know on WordPress.com there aren't a lot of free plugins. So you guys don't have to use plugins. You can use themes in place of plugins, but we will still cover plugins because when you guys, if you make WordPress websites on local hosting or on in actual hosting, then you are able to use plugins. So you can think of plugins as like a pre-built code or a package that add new feature and functionality to your website without you having to do anything, without you having to write code for it. And they're kind of like building blocks that, for example, Elementor, that you can customize your website, make it look a lot better. WP Forms lets you add form functionality within your website, contact us page or something like that. There's also a lot of security plugins, search optimization plugins. So these expand your website and they kind of act like a toolkit for you. So the way to harness plugins for you guys to achieve organization. So for example, I said this before as well, that to connect with your website viewers, you can use forms to get seen and heard. You use SEO optimization plugins for there are performance plugins as well. There's caching plugins that cache content on your website so they can appear more faster. And there are security plugins as well. Security is very important here. Lots of WordPress websites get hacked. If you don't keep your plugins up to date, there are security vulnerabilities sometimes in plugins, especially outdated ones or non-well-known ones. So that's important for you guys to have some sort of security setup as well on your website. That's not something that it does come out of the box with WordPress, but you do need additional security features for your website. And yeah, this is the thing that with plugins, you get a lot of convenience, and that does feel powerful, but it isn't free. Because every plugin that you install, it will have some sort of trade-off. Such as if you do a quick and easy contact form, that is a gateway for people or bots to spam your form and also do code injection. Code injection, that is a way for hackers to hack your website by writing code in your website and then it gets accepted somewhere else, right? So they open a lot of vulnerabilities that you can never really fathom. And for example, if you set up a contact form and you don't add, like, you see that check mark that you have to do or verification captcha, if you don't set up something like that, then bots are going to end up spamming your contact form. And that does happen with a lot of entities. So to combat this, there are a lot of different ways to verify that it's an actual user. And even for like an SEO toolkit, it can bloat it will have a lot of bloat code that slows down your website. So if you have a lot of plugins installed as well that even if you don't use, they will still slow down your website, because they have to run every time someone visits your website, and they have to allocate additional resources. Even something like a free image gallery, that it can be that you don't use it, and then there will be some sort of security vulnerability, and maybe the plugin isn't getting any updates, like it's deprecated. What that means is that the developer is no longer updating that plugin. And you will see that, oh, this is already up to date, but what you won't see is that the developer is no longer developing it. So it's very important to, if you're having a lot of plugins, sort of organize them in a way that you regularly look at them, regularly research, because of how fast things work in IT and web development as well. There are even multiple updates every single day for a plugin. That's how fast it goes. So your 5-point health check for any plugin, you look at the last updated. As a general rule, you should avoid plugins that aren't updated like in a few months or in a year. You may think that, okay, if a code is good, if a plugin is good, then it shouldn't need updates. But the thing is, there are, especially in web development, security risks come every single day. Zero-day hacks happen all the time. Every day we're finding out new ways, hackers are finding out new ways to hack websites. Active installations, that's how many people have installed and activated this plugin. So if there's like millions of people or hundreds of thousands, then it's a very popular plugin, it's very reputable, you can think of. You can also look at developer reputation. So has this developer been known to make very safe plugins? Has any other plugin they made been hacked or something like that? Stuff like that. You can check at support forms as well, that if users are having problems with their plugins, are they actively resolving it? You can look at their GitHub repository. If they open source the code, you can look at their GitHub repository as well, if they are addressing issues or pull requests, stuff like that. If people review their plugin or give them rating, how are they responding to that? Are they doing anything? Are they just saying, no, it's your fault for using it wrong? Right, so these are some of the indicators that you can use to check if a plugin is good to install. But the biggest security risk for websites isn't always external code, isn't always going to be plugins or themes that you install. It can also be compromised by yourself through a simple human error. So controlling who can access your website, how they access your website, and what sort of functionality they are allowed to use, that is very important as well. That is as important as installing other code. So if you have unnecessary admin accounts or even your own account, if you don't have very strong passwords for that, then they are likely to get hacked. If you have a simple like Word or something like that, that is very prone to some sort of dictionary attack. Dictionary attack is like guessing the top 1,000 used passwords in the entire world. If your password is on that list, then it will get hacked, your website will get hacked. That has happened to entities before too. So you can think of it in the way that you don't give every employee the master key to the wall, to your website. And the concept that applies over here is the concept of principle of least privilege. So team members, they should only have the permissions that they absolutely need to perform their job, nothing else. So an admin, that will be like the CIO of the entity, for example, they will have full access to the entire site. An editor, that will be like your MIT, it could even be, or some senior volunteer, or someone else helping out with the website. That can be other members of your team in your entity as well. They can manage posts and content and maybe approve posts, stuff like that. Author is someone who can also publish and manage their own posts. And contributor is someone who they can write and manage their own posts, but they cannot publish posts. Right? Authors can publish and manage their own posts, and editors can publish other users' posts as well. That's the key difference. And a subscriber, that's the default user, they can only manage their own profile. That's every other visitor. So do you guys have any questions regarding these terms? Okay, so these are the default WordPress roles that are available. Of course, you can add more through some plugins. Then you can modify what sort of permission each user has on an individual level and on a role level as well. So the path to mastery is balancing your power with practice. You have a lot of power through plugins and through themes, but you have to be very responsible about it in order to manage it and balance it well. A professional website is not just powerful, it does not have like a very good look or very good design or functionality. It is also very resilient to any sort of attacks or any sort of exploits that hackers may be able to do. And it is well managed and organized. So if someone else takes over the website, they know what is going on A to Z. So your routine for a healthy and secure site, security is not a one-time setup, it's a continuous process. So these are some processes that you can follow and integrate it into your workflow. These can be like weekly or monthly, it's up to you. WordPress core, that is like the actual WordPress software. You should be upgrading that very diligently, very regularly, in your themes and plugins as well. And you should prioritize security releases. You can wait on if there's a feature release, but security updates, that should be your priority. Backups are very important as well. You can schedule daily or weekly backups. You can check them that are these backups even working. You can also store them like on a USB or on a hard drive or anything else, and you can make manual backups as well if not possible to do automated backups. Auditing is very crucial as well. You should the board audits all the entities, websites and their WordPress accounts. If there's any past user that has admin access, that is removed. The passwords are reset every corporate period as well. So doing stuff like that is very important as well. Any questions on this? Okay. One of you guys has informed me that you can't install plugins. So you can skip this task. But if you want, you can go on your local WP, that is a software that lets you run local websites, and you can install that plugins over there. But this is not, yes. Yeah, that's fine. Then this is not mandatory to do then. It's optional. If you want to fully experience and experiment with plugins, then you should do this. Otherwise, not doing this is also fine. You can look at other themes and work on the rest of your website instead. Or you could even research on different plugins that you would want to install and how you would integrate them on your website, and do the security and health assessments that we talked about before. You can do that like on a Google Sheet or something as well. And designing your team structure. So you can think according to your website, what you've thought of, how, for example, the scenario is that you have a corporate blog with a marketing manager. Marketing manager, they would approve all the content. And then you have several staff writers as well who can only write. And then you have maybe someone who's helping out, another friend of yours or something. So they would need a temporary admin access. So your task for this is to map out how you would assign roles to each person, and how the principle of least privilege is being applied, and why you chose this role for this particular user. Right? Any questions on this? Okay, this is something you just have to do on like pen and paper or notepad or something. So now you are equipped to build responsibility. Before you learned all the ways of how to build websites, now you've learned all the security measures to take and how to build responsibility. You should now be able to do all these objectives, all these things. You can read through them if you want. And finally, just again a quote, that a great website isn't just built, it is managed. You document everything that you do so that if anyone else is to take over, they have the exact same knowledge that you do. And that is the responsibility of building websites. I believe that is the last slide. Yes. I don't believe we have internet, so we probably won't be able to do the Kahoots. Wait. Yes. One second. Okay, so you guys can start joining. So, you can't use the website? I think so.
It's 60% down.
We'll start. Right, so the correct answer was to balance plugins that you add and their convenience that comes with them with risk. The correct answer was performance. Performance was one of the listed plugin categories for you guys to explore. Yeah, the correct answer was the form plugin, SEO, and security. Yeah, this was pretty obvious. Yes, so both exercises need to be reviewed and checked by TAs. Yes, so this the exercise 4.2 that you guys are supposed to do. You're supposed to make a plan of user permissions for a real world website. Okay, and that was it for today. You guys can get started with your work. You can catch up on other work as well, or start finishing up your website.